Welcome back to the Percy Jackson Son of Poseidon podcast. So now that the show is over, I decided to do a quick little ranking video of the gods and monsters from Season 1 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. We got some good gods, we got some gods that didn't even show up in the book are in here now. And we didn't actually get too many monsters. I'm sort of reclassifying some of the characters. So I'm not really counting Chiron as one of the gods, and Alecto and Medusa, I'm counting those in the monsters category, and so only really the monsters that kind of really played an active role against our, protagonists. So some of the, I know we see a couple little, the wood nymph and, satyrs and stuff and things like that. But those aren't really a big part. So I'm only doing the 7 gods, 6 of the Olympian gods, and then Dionysus. Those are going to be my gods. And then for the monsters, Cerberus, Minotaur, Medusa, Alecto, and I'm going to include Echidna and the Chimera sort of into one because they're really a pair. So this is going to be my ranking for the gods and monsters in Season 1 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So, start with the gods. My favorite of the gods is Poseidon. I think the actor playing Poseidon is perfect casting. This man looks like he's the god of the sea. He looks like he's just stepping out of the Atlantic Ocean. I think he's perfect. And I like that he feels like the father to this version of Percy. Like he even says, to Percy, he's like, obedience doesn't come naturally to you, right? And he says, I guess I can, take some of the blame. The sea, can't be contained or something like that. So I really think this is a good version, and I like his relationship with Sally, and I can't wait to explore that a little bit more. So, and I just like his look, right? Like I said, he looks like he's the god of the sea. And I don't know the actor from anything else, but I thought he did a really great job here. I hope we get to see more of Poseidon going forward with the show. And so number 1, my favorite is Poseidon. Number 2 is going to be Ares, because I thought the actor Adam Copeland, who I know is the wrestler, right, the Edge, I thought he did a great job. He brought that wrestling energy, that charisma, that charm, that, just those presence, right, to the role. He really embodied Ares. I think it was a great choice to get a wrestler to play Ares. Ares, I believe, would be a wrestling fan. And I just thought he did such a great job. You like him, but also you hate him, right? But you like him also, and I think that's really good. Ares in the book really is more of really brash and off-putting. And this version of Ares, he's a jerk, but again, he's got that charm and charisma that kind of draws you in a little bit. And I just thought the scenes were great. I loved the scene with Grover, and of course the battle scene with the swords I thought was really well done. And so I just thought Ares was perfect in this. I still wish they have the flame in the eyes. I really want them to I think maybe all the CGI budget was blown on the the creatures designs and also the digital environment. So maybe next season we can get up the budget a little bit and get just to bring in a little bit more of that mythical sort of elements, magical elements from the books that we can kind of just pop in here and there, like the flaming in the eyes. I think that would just really complete his look. So I loved Ares. And then number 3 is going to be Hermes. I thought Lin-Manuel Miranda was a great choice for Hermes. I really loved him in the outfit delivering the box in the elevator to Olympus. I thought that was Hermes right there. I like what they did with this version of Hermes. In the book, Hermes is very much like a delivery guy in a business suit. He has a staff. So I hope we get the staff next season, because Hermes is not in the first book. He's in the second book, really. But I just thought Lin-Manuel Miranda was so charming in the role. I think he fits perfectly with Hermes, and I just really liked that casting. I just thought it was done really well. Number 4 is going to be Dionysus. Now, I was really worried about Jason Mantzoukas at first because I know him, some of his more wackier comedy bits. But here he didn't really do that. Here he pretty much is Dionysus from the book. He's just a jerk, but also just super aloof and does not care about these campers. And I think that's like, at the very end scene in the last episode when he says, "Isn't your name Peter Johnson?" Like, I actually don't care. Like, that is Dionysus, right? So I thought he did a really good job in the role. He didn't overact it. He didn't comedic. I thought he just did a really good job at playing a live-action version of Dionysus. So I thought he did good. Number 5 is Zeus. Now, we don't get a lot of Zeus. We get one scene with Zeus, so that's why he's a little lower on the list. But I thought Lance Reddick did a really good job at, like, the commanding presence of Zeus. And Zeus is really mean in the books. Like, he's not somebody that cares. And so I thought Lance Reddick did a really good job. Obviously he passed away, so we're going to have to recast going forward. Like, I think he did a really good job, and I was excited for him to be our Zeus. So, we'll see who takes on the role next. But I thought he did really good in this scene. He was commanding. He has the voice, right, of the god. And I just really liked that scene. So, we'll see what they do with Zeus going forward. Number 6 is going to be Hades. I prefer the movie version of Hades a little bit, like in terms of the style, and he's a little bit more cruel. This version of Hades was a lot more laid back and chill, but still you can tell, like, bubbling underneath, he is like a powerful god. And I think we're going to see more of Hades going forward. If you know what the storyline in the book is, I think we're going to get more of that going forward. And I think this actor does a fine job as Hades. I didn't really like that, like, weird, like, I don't know, pajama bathrobe suit thingy he had on. I don't know. Maybe give him a better look. But again, he only had one scene. He didn't have much to do. But I thought what we got of Hades was fine. So that's why he's a little lower on the list. And then number 7 is Hephaestus. Also because he only gets the one short scene. And again, they don't really do much with him. And he's not even in the first book. So they just added this small scene. I liked it. I liked his talk with Annabeth. I liked how, he starts off, being like, "Get out of here." And then he kind of, comes around and sees, like, her side of things and, helps her and Percy out. So I did like that. And I think the actor does a great job in the role. He looked really cool as Hephaestus. So I think, going forward, we'll get more from him. I like setting up the Ares, Ares and Hephaestus, sort of love triangle with Aphrodite thing. So yeah, we'll get more of him going forward. And I like, what we got of him, but we just didn't get a whole lot. So those are my rankings for the gods. Number 1 is Poseidon. Number 2 is Ares. Number 3 is Hermes. Number 4 is Dionysus. Number 5, Zeus. Number 6, Hades. Number 7, Hephaestus. So now let's switch over to the monsters. So we don't actually have too many. I only picked out the ones that are really an antagonistic force against, the trio on their journey. So number 1 is going to be the Fury Electo, aka Mrs. Dodds. I love what they did here. I love how they changed up the character. She's not just this evil, shrill, villainous character. Like, she has a little more depth. We find out, she really didn't want to. She wasn't trying to kill Percy. She was trying to get Percy so she can attain Hades' helm. And I like the conversation she had with Annabeth on the bus. Again, finding out that she failed the mission with Annabeth, Luke, and Dahlia all of the years ago, and that's why she's kind of, persistent on completing this new quest. And so I like that. We get a little bit more backstory. We get a little more, I don't want to say empathy, but like humanistic, like humanizing the character a little bit better. And I thought the actress did a great job. I was also worried about the actress going into this role because she does come from a comedy background, so I thought maybe they would go a little goofy with Mrs. Dodds, but they didn't. I thought she was perfect. I liked her look. I thought she played it well. I really just loved what they did here with the Mrs. Dodds Electo character, and I really hope we see more of her going forward in the series. Number 2 is Medusa. I like this version of Medusa. Now, I didn't like that they automatically knew it was Medusa and she just introduced herself, "I'm Medusa." That was just a really problem of the show as overall. They just told us things without actually taking the time to figure things out. But I liked the actress playing Medusa. I only knew her from The Flash, which I did not like her. Until she unveiled herself, I had no idea it was that actress, so I thought she did great. She played it as like this almost Southern Belle type version of Medusa. And again, I liked her conversations with Percy. And I like her whole backstory. They tell us the backstory of the story of Medusa. And so I just thought she was used really well. I liked her. I liked the actress. I would love to see more of Medusa. I would like to maybe see flashbacks of that history. Obviously, she's dead now. But yeah, I wish we could use more of her because I thought she was really well done in the show. Number 3 is Echidna and the Chimera. I really liked Echidna. I thought the actress played it really like calm but sinister and like threatening and menacing. And then of course the Chimera was an awesome monster. It looked awesome. It was, fierce, and it was great. Like, so I just thought the combination of the Echidna and the Chimera in that 4th episode was so well done. That was one of the better episodes of the show, partly because of their threat and presence. And again, I love that we're giving more depth to the character, right? She's like, telling this philosophy to the kids, like, to me, the demigods are the monsters, and that's why I hunt them. The monsters are my children, and I have to protect them. And I really liked playing that angle with Echidna. Again, humanizing her, not just being the monster or the mother of the monsters, right? They give her a little more humanizing characteristic, and I really enjoyed that aspect. Number 4 is the Minotaur, because that is the sort of catalyst, I guess, to the whole Percy Jackson story, right? Without him defeating the Minotaur, we really wouldn't be on our journey with Percy. And I like this kind of version of the Minotaur, like he's like this big bull, and he's got like underpants on. And I mean, Percy even's like, why is he wearing underwear? And it's because that's how he's depicted in the little card game. And so I like that. They're kind of showing like, hey, the card game, wink wink, that's all real, which is a setup for further storylines in the story. But so I like the Minotaur. I like how he's used. And yeah, I mean, it's a decent fight between Percy and the Minotaur, but mostly it's just significant because it's the main event of throwing Percy into this world, and I like that. And then number 5 is Cerberus, the 3-headed guard dog of the underworld. We don't get much of him. I like how they kind of played it as he's like kind of this giant puppy dog almost. So I like that element. He wasn't like too vicious looking, which is really cool. And I mean, he served the purpose that he needed to serve. It's, fairly similar to what happens in the book. He looks really cool. And so yeah, but he doesn't play as much of an important role, going forward. If I had to, I mean, they didn't really do like Krusty. He kind of is like a monstrous villain in the book, but they kind of just did away with that whole scene anyway. Otherwise, I would throw Krusty in here a little higher up on the list. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we didn't really have too many of the monster elements, but I liked what we got. So number 1 is Alecto, aka Mrs. Dodds. Number 2 is Medusa. Number 3 is Echidna and the Chimera. Number 4 is the Minotaur. And number 5 is Cerberus. Again, I really, especially the first 3, because those are human, like female humanistic characters, and they gave them more depth. I really loved what we did with that. And again, I hope we get to see more of them going forward. So, yeah, so I thought we did a good job here casting of the gods, casting of the monsters, and I want to see more of all of them going forward. So those are my rankings of the gods and monsters for Season 1 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. We'll see what we get in the next season. Sea of Monsters, we get the Hydra. We get a lot more of the centaurs. I didn't put Chiron on the list here because Chiron, he's kind of a god. He's like a minor god, like kind of maybe like Dionysus, but also he's a centaur, so he's also kind of in the creatures camp. So I just didn't include him on the list. But we do get more centaurs, and then we get, like I said, the Hydra. We get the sea monsters, Scylla and Charybdis, and then of course we get the giant Cyclops, Polyphemus. So we're going to get more monsters in the next season, and I'm looking forward to all of that. So thank you all for listening to the Percy Jackson Son of Poseidon podcast. Those are my rankings. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What would you guys rank the gods and the monsters? How would you guys do it? So stay tuned to the channel for more Percy Jackson content. And until next time, later, Seaweed Brain.